That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about The Bad Guys. Donde está? The Bad Guys.
Donde están?
Están, yes.
Yeah.
I was riffing on a Stranger with Candy episode.
Oh, sorry. You know I hate to ruin a good joke.
Anyhow, it is the directorial debut of Pierre Perifel. This is being released courtesy of, did I say that already? Universal?
No, you didn't.
On April 22nd. It previously, Perifel works in the animation department on many notable animation productions, such as the Kung Fu Panda, trilogy. And it is based on a series of books by Aaron Blabey, with Etan Cohen and Yoni Brunner adapting the script, which is interesting, especially because Cohen has written a lot of adult films like Tropic Thunder and Idiocracy, plus Madagascar 2, while Yoni Brunner has done at least 2 Ice Age sequels and Rio 2.
Well, animation's not my go-to. I have seen quite a few, and I generally enjoy them. Like, if I make myself watch them, I will enjoy them because they're usually cute, funny, with a heartwarming message. Everything gets wrapped up in a nice little package. But this one, I would just describe it as underwhelming.
It does feel like a DreamWorks misfire.
This felt like someone pitched it and like Disney threw it in the trash. Maybe Pixar threw it in the trash and DreamWorks was like, we'll do it.
Well, I'm assuming the books are popular, which I would know nothing about since I don't have children. So maybe that's why they thought this was a good idea. But it feels like it's not for children. But it's also not for adults.
Right. Okay, the basic story is we live in, it's set in California, Los Angeles. And it's a world where it's all humans, but there are these 5 animals who live like humans. There's a wolf, a snake, a piranha, a shark, and a tarantula.
And that's their names.
And those are their names, and they're bad guys. So they rob and steal. Basically like fancy heist, bank robberies, all that. So the film opens with them robbing a bank, and they're successful.
And there's a chase scene.
There's a long chase scene.
So it's like Michael Bay's Ambulance for Kids.
When the governor of California gets on the TV, and the governor is a fox. So we live in this world with all humans, and now we have 6 animals that walk around like people. And the governor's talking shit about these bad guys. Like, they're so lame. It's clearly a cry for help. They're not even original. Like, yada, yada, yada. So that inflames the bad guys. Like, oh, so we ain't shit? Okay, well, we are going to successfully steal this thing. It'll be the heist of all heists, which is this Golden Dolphin Award that will be presented at the Good Samaritan Awards to this guinea pig. So now we have a 7th animal that lives like a human. So there are 7 animals that act like humans. This guinea pig...
Professor Marmalade.
There's a backstory of like a meteor crashed into California, like Los Angeles one day, and this scientist, philanthropist, turned that into a symbol of like love. I don't know. The award he's getting is supposed to be like a Nobel Peace Prize.
But the way his process was basically turn your frown upside down.
Yeah, like the meteor, like they show him looking at an angle and it looks like a heart. Whatever, we'll get to it. Okay, so the bad guys they steal the Golden Dolphin Award, but they get caught. Mm-hmm. So they're on their way to jail. Mm-hmm. When the wolf, who's the leader of the bad guys, sort of convinces, or he thinks he convinces the guinea pig doctor, like, give us a second chance. You can rehabilitate us. So the guinea pig tells the governor, yeah, let me rehabilitate them. And if I'm successful in making the bad guys into good guys, you have to pardon them. And the governor says, okay. But the gag is, the guinea pig is the real bad guy. He's like a villain. He wants to harness the power of the meteor because with that power, he can like do mind control, but apparently only with other guinea pigs. I don't know. We can get into it. But of course, the bad guys stop the guinea pig with the help of the governor, who we find out is like the ultimate burglar. She's called the Crimson Paw. And she's so good at her damn job that she convinced Californians to vote for her as governor because they didn't know she was that thing. So they save the day, stop the guinea pig, the bad guys do get a year in prison because, of course, they did steal all that shit before. And I guess everything's all good. The end.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought this story was so stupid.
It's stupid. It's it's for kids, so a lot of the messaging is supposed to be obvious, right? Just because you do bad doesn't mean you can stop doing bad to all of a sudden do good. And
well, I took away the message of the film is even trash can be recycled.
Yes, that is a motif.
That's what I think the story is about. I only laughed 4 times, and I wrote those 4 times down.
Tell me what they are.
But usually with kid movies, I do find them very amusing and cute. And I just thought this was like...
Sure, Big Hero 6 or Inside Out.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to say is we've seen many, like, kid-type movies in a screening environment where, like, people bring kids. Mm-hmm. And in every situation, you get reactions from the kids. Whether it's, like, just full-on laughter... Or like with Inside Out, kids were crying, or you hear them gasp. They're very engaged. The kids instantly learn lyrics. After the first chorus line, they'll start singing, right? But with this movie, the kids in the audience seemed so bored that they were like doing everything but watching.
There was a real restless energy.
Yeah, I saw a lot of kids in the theater like standing up and looking away at the screen.
Well, and straight up having conversations.
Like walking out, and so that was a sign. But I could just go through my notes. So the guinea pig says, like, I'll rehabilitate the bad guys. He brings them to his compound, and he's trying to teach them to be good. And at one point, so the wolf is most susceptible to being good. Mm-hmm. Because at a point, when he's at the gala to steal this golden dolphin, there's an old lady who he's about to, like, steal her purse, but she almost falls, and he saves her, and she says, thank you, you're a good boy. And the wolf starts getting all excited and his tail starts wagging. So that's his first...
Which is, if you think about it, a little bit like Manchurian Candidate brainwashing, but okay.
But we find out that the guinea pig, because he's the villain, he set all this shit up. So actually that old lady was the guinea pig in drag. But anyway...
So this is Bad Vegan, where they're both conning each other.
So when they're at the compound being... good, trying to be good, there's a scene where the wolf is outside taking a stroll and like being pensive, and he sees a cat. Also, the other animals in the movie act like animals. So there's a cat in a tree that's stuck, and the wolf goes up there, and of course the cat is scared of this wolf, but he, placates it and makes it feel safe, and then the guinea pig records it and puts it like on TikTok or Instagram Live. And so there are all these likes. And the guinea pig's like, oh, see, I think this will be enough to set you free. These lifelong criminals who have stolen, the 5 bad guys have a lair. Mm-hmm. Like something out of Indiana Jones, mm-hmm. filled with, because they've stolen the Mona Lisa. They filled with treasures and jewels and money and artwork. And the one saving a cat is going to pardon them.
Well,
I know it was a gag because the villain's tricking them, but that shit was so
Which
stupid.
is also funny, a film that really is highly dependent on social media for children, I find interesting.
Yes, okay. The chief of police.
Ugh.
There's a character that...
What's her name? Misty Luggins?
Oh my god, I hated that character. First of all, they make her like this really big, strong, butch-looking lady.
Kind of like the sister.
She reminded me of like a Fortune Feimster and that bitch from Encanto, the big strong
That's
one.
who I thought of.
If you mix those two, that's what she looked like. Oh my god, I like Fortune Feimster, but this cartoon character was so annoying. Yeah. The way she's moving around and the way she's talking.
Well, even how she's voiced by Alex Borstein.
Ugh, I hated that character.
I also hated the news anchor.
The news anchor's voiced by Lily Singh, mm-hmm. who I'm familiar with. Like, cool person, but the character's supposed to be like this younger person, like
what's her name? Tiffany Fluffett?
I don't know how to describe her. She seems like she's like a freshman in college who's doing like taking journalism and is just learning, except she's like the main news reporter for like LA, and she's dressed like a 19-year-old with, it just felt like the tone was very off to me about that character.
Well, again, I think it's because the script for those 2 female characters is bad. Like, they don't have anything...
Then the governor is supposed to be like this cool fox, I guess, and she has like an eyebrow piercing. I don't know. It feels lame because all of the voice actors, like, the wolf and the snake are old men, right? Marc Maron and
Sam Rockwell.
these are middle-aged men. So it's like, and then the vibe of the story feels like an old man wrote it. And like an older like me trying to write a movie for like tweens. And then it's like, oh, I'll make the reporter like this youthful character, but she's really just talking like social media.
She's just vapid, yeah.
Which seems kind of like lame. And then the governor is like, oh, give her an eyebrow piercing.
Who's voiced by Zazie Beetz. And she gets a name, a full-blown name, Diana Foxington, which why did the bad guys that are only known by their description as an animal? I think that for a children's movie, it's beyond the pale of trying to rationalize these choices, but it's still strange.
The story culminates with the guinea pig getting the upper hand on the bad guys again and convincing everyone that they were trying to steal something. But then there's like a double cross because the snake gets mad at the wolf and decides to leave and then partners up with the guinea pig. But then there's also a gag with that the snake was trying to help his friends by getting in good with the guinea pig and switching out the meteor. It's so complicated, but then it feels like whoever wrote the story was like, oh, we have to find a way to, like, it just feels like a very last minute detail that the snake double-crossed the guinea pig.
Because actually what I really think the theme is about, don't judge a book by its cover and don't rely on stereotypes. Because there's even a line about stereotyping in there, which again felt like this isn't really necessarily for kids, and a George Clooney joke.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Like, it's just some of the it just feels like it's for adults, but it's not funny. And then making a because they keep telling the wolf like, don't Clooney me. Well, kids wouldn't know that reference.
And I thought Sam Rockwell was his cute voice work as the wolf, and I was amused at some of those things with
my favorite character was the snake.
Marc Maron.
Yeah.
They put him in human clothes because they're in disguise at one point, and he walking around, he looked like John Cazale, who played Fredo in The Godfather films.
Oh gosh, I don't know that reference, but I thought the snake looked really cute in clothes.
I thought he was a little creepy but fun.
Okay, it's animation style, but it has that look of like maybe it was like what do you call it? Like stop motion. It's that kind of animation that looks like it could be 3D, but then I thought all of the characters' eyes look so weird.
They would do like weird expressionistic movements.
It's like the eyes were full on cartoon, but then everything else was that other style of animation that I can't verbalize, but I thought it was so distracting.
It was distracting. I thought some of the voice work was distracting too, like Awkwafina as Tarantula didn't really do it for me. Anthony Ramos as Piranha had nothing to do. I wonder if you'd like to comment on the shark. He's just called Shark, but I think he's supposed to be a great white. Voiced by Craig Robinson.
Well, I didn't. You brought up an interesting point because the shark is voiced by Craig Robinson. So but then it's a great white shark. But then it's voiced by a black actor, and then
who's going out of his way to do black voice.
I mean, yeah, like did we want this great white to sound black? Whatever that means. It's an interesting choice. That's
interesting.
The opening scene is a very long car chase, and then the character of the wolf even says like, "Oh." Because who doesn't, like, he extends the chase on purpose because he's like, everyone loves a long car chase. I thought that car chase was getting annoying. And then there's a part where the cops are like following the bad guys in their cars and hanging out of the cars. It just felt chaotic and silly.
Guardians, guinea pigs getting run over. I mean, obviously there's no blood or anything.
There were people in the audience, and when we left the theater, commenting about that. Like, it was a little disturbing because you don't see any blood. You just see a car running over millions of guinea pigs.
So apparently LA is rife with...
That also bothered me because in the beginning, the opening scene of the film is the snake and the wolf sitting in a diner. Mm-hmm. And it's that scene where we learn that in this world, it's all humans. And that people are freaked out by these two characters, but then we don't know if they're freaked out because they're animals who act like humans or because they're bad guys. Because if they're bad guys, it's like, well, everyone knows they're sitting here. No one called the police. It's just so weird. But the snake goes on and on about how guinea pigs are a delicacy. And then later on in the film, the fact that the snake would have access to a guinea pig is a huge motivation for him to participate in another heist. But then in the end, when the villain is controlling all the guinea pigs, it would appear there are millions of guinea pigs in LA. Mm-hmm. I thought that was so weird. Like, why is the snake acting like guinea pigs are this rare delicacy when there are millions of them in the city?
I also didn't really like Professor Marmalade as a guinea pig. Interestingly, that character was voiced by Richard Ayoade, who's a notable Welsh film director who did Submarine and The Double, which I really liked, and can be also seen in the recent Souvenir Part 2 as a very flamboyant director. Yeah, that was a great in characterization to me.
I was also confused. So at the Good Samaritan Awards, no, there's a fundraiser. There's a fundraiser, and this is going to be the gala where the bad guys are reintroduced as good guys. And we got to get to the music, but I thought the music was so whack. But during a musical number, this gala raises $1 billion. And I'm like, so then at first I'm like, oh, maybe money doesn't mean the same.
Bitcoin, like is Bitcoin cryptocurrency?
Yeah. But then the guinea pigs, his whole plot is to steal the $1 billion. So I thought, like, what is money worth?
So he's stealing from
I know
himself.
people are going to comment that I'm thinking too much about it, but I just thought the fact that they raised $1 billion in the course of like a song. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, that can't be a lot of money. But then the guinea pig his whole entire mission is to steal this $1 billion. So clearly that is a lot of money.
During a song that the piranha sings off the cuff to distract from the snake being caught in a sticky wicket.
I thought the music was so whack. The gala where the piranha's singing and everyone's dancing, it felt like a B side of like a Bruno Mars track. Mm-hmm. Then in the opening credits during the chase scene, the 5 bad guys are rapping. That was whack. And I felt misled because in the trailer for this movie, we hear the Billie Eilish song Bad Guy or whatever. So I thought, oh, this movie's going to have really great music. They're going to license like pop songs. Nope.
No, and the composer it's a very notable composer, Daniel Pemberton, who's worked on a lot of films.
I wanted to end saying positive things.
Before that, one of my notes was when the wolf is trying to explain to the snake, he's trying to hide that he's turning good, but saying that that's his master plan to fool everyone. I'm like, that's some DL shit right there. Oh. That's that DL mentality.
Terry McMillan.
No, what's that man's name?
Jonathan Plummer.
Yeah,
the gay man Terry McMillan married, how Stella got her groove back is based off of. Mm-hmm. Well, her meeting him, not the whole
shebang.
Not the whole shebang.
We need.
Okay, there were 4 times I laughed. The little tarantula is like the tech genius. Mm-hmm. Oh, so the wolf is like the leader. The shark is like a master of disguise. The snake can open safes. The piranha is just crazy like the Hulk. And then the tarantula is like their tech genius.
He has bad gas.
And he has really bad farts that'll disarm people. But the tarantula I thought was funny because all of her tech equipment, like her laptop, is small for a tarantula. Mm-hmm. So her laptop is like this big.
I did like when she got fingerprinted.
Oh, and then when they fingerprint the tarantula, they just drop all 8 of her legs into some ink. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was cute. Then, I thought the funniest character was the shark. Everything out of the shark's mouth was funny. The shark has to provide a distraction at the Good Samaritan Awards so they can steal the golden dolphin.
And he's in drag.
And the shark shows up in drag, like sashaying into the thing. And then at a point, they need a distraction. So they're like, shark. And the shark's like, can I go all out? Like, can I do what I do? And they're like, yeah, just do it. And this fool pretends to be in labor. Like, my water broke. I'm having a baby. I thought that was a funny scene. Then at the end, like, at the peak of crisis for the 5 bad guys, they get, like, dropped from, like, they're, like, going to fall into, the meteor pit and die. But it's a very long fall. And at a point, the wolf is, like, trying to swim towards the snake. Mm-hmm. I thought that was cute.
In the air, yeah, that was cute.
And then
they're trying to make up.
Yeah, and then the snake at one point, because he like sheds his skin sometimes.
That was a cute moment too.
He says to them, "Oh, I have the skin of a reptile half my age."
When he is in that duct and he sheds his skin,
and he like throws up himself. Yeah, because the snake likes to vomit up stuff.
I think the snake is the best well-formed character, as in how they anthropomorphize snake's characteristics. Yeah, the rest of these animals.
I don't think this movie is shit. I just think it, like, considering it's from a major what do you call DreamWorks studio, from a major studio,
And Universal, yeah.
from a major studio, and then we, the last few animated films we saw were quite strong. I mean, even Encanto, I thought was a good movie. It just wasn't, this timeless thing. But this just felt so like it was like an idea, like a pitch someone threw away, and they needed something at the last minute, so they said, "We'll make it." What would you give it?
2.
I would give it 2 out of 5. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Listen to our podcast. Bye.